Hey guys, so in this video I want to show you how I did this board and batten wall in our main bedroom. This wall is 16.5 feet wide, 8 feet high. This project took me about 3 days to do with tons of prep. This is what the room looked like completely empty. When we first moved in, it was completely blank, and then this is what the room looked like before we started this project. The bed is new, the nightstands are new, and then this is what the wall looked like after I started sampling some paint. The largest paint swatch is Ocean Swell by Behr, which is the color we ended up going with. I want to go for a more muted blue tone with hints of green. So the green tape and the markings on the wall are actually where I plan on putting the battens to be on the wall, just so I could get a better idea of what I wanted it to look like. I ultimately wanted 7 sets of battens. I think that's what you call them on the wall. So I want to go for a different pattern than a lot of the board and batten that I saw online. I wanted to do a larger batten and a smaller batten combined. So I went with a combination of a 1x4 and a 1x2 with 1.5 inches in between the two boards. Here's some of the math I used to determine the spacing between each batten set. I used a combination of an online calculator, which I'll leave the link in the description box, as well as this board to figure out exact spacing. I ended up deciding on 18.625 as the spacing between each batten. So first up, I painted the border boards in Ocean Swell by Behr. I wanted to paint these first before putting them on the wall so that I could create cleaner paint lines against the border. I don't have to worry about getting paint on the side of the wall that, I didn't want the paint on. So for the border, I used mostly 1x2s that I got already primed from Home Depot. And then on the top border is actually a 1x4. So here's how the boards looked after I was done painting. I did paint some against the wall as well. And then the first step to adding it to the wall, I added construction adhesive to the back of the boards. Sometimes this construction adhesive was tough to get out, as you see here, but I was able to work with it. Afterwards, I placed the board where I wanted it on the wall, and then I brad nailed it to the wall using a Ryobi brad nailer. I got this from Direct Tools Outlet for about $100, and I placed the brad nails where I had previously marked the studs. So the X's are where the studs are. So I'm trying to hit it in the stud. So for the top part, I did the same thing. I added construction adhesive to the back of the board and then brad nailed it in place. Alright, so day 1 complete. We did this top piece. Haven't done any caulking or anything, but yeah, let me show y'all down here too. So we did 2 8-foot
pieces down here, those were 1x2s, and then 2 8-foot pieces up here, and these were 1x4s. So this is what we're going to do just for today. This is a Friday, so this was after work. Tomorrow we're going to do the rest of the wall.
So this was the next day. First off, we started by cutting each batten to size with the miter saw. I made sure it fit in between the 2 border pieces we put up yesterday first before. And then I used the same process as yesterday. We added construction adhesive to the boards, and then so I created a spacer piece out of a 1x3 that I cut to about 18.625 inches to make sure the spacing between the boards was pretty accurate. I also used a 1x2 to determine the spacing between the 1x4 and the 1x2. So again, here you'll see we're using the 18.625 spacer, and then we followed that up by using a 1x2 as the spacer, which is about 1.5 inches.
So last bit of pieces I need to cut are a piece for right there, and then a longer 1x2 right here, and then of course down there I need another piece.
So thankfully I only ran into one outlet during this project, and I decided to just cut a 1x2 up to the height of the outlet, and then I cut another 1x2 to finish the remainder up the wall to the ceiling.
So this is how the wall looks fully battened up except for that one piece in the top right corner. I had to paint it, so I'm letting that dry right quick. But yeah, I'm liking the design so far. Now I'm going to caulk and fill in the nail holes. This is probably the most tedious part of this, but you can see there's tiny little nail holes throughout that need to be filled in. So I saw this trick on another YouTube video. I don't know if you want to call it a trick, but I like that it left smoother marks. Hopefully y'all can see this well. I'm using just some Drydex spackling. You can also use wood filler. This isn't real wood, I think it's MDFs. So what they did is they filled in the hole like this, and then so there's not much to sand off. They went back and used these baby wipes and just kind of cleaned it up. So there's not much to sand like that. So really don't have to sand it all with this method. I don't know if this is going to show through the paint. I hope not, but yeah, just leaves little filled in holes. So let me zoom in so y'all can see. See, the holes are filled in, but it's just on those spots.
So I went on and filled in the holes on the rest of the boards, as well as where two boards met. I filled in like that space just to make sure it was seamless, and then I went on to caulking. This was the hardest part of the project. But yeah, I got that part done.
So this is what the wall looks like at the end of day 2, I guess you can call this. It's 9 o'clock at night, so we've been working since 11 o'clock this morning. But I have caulked everything and filled in the holes. That took forever. I actually ended up going to Home Depot and Lowe's to get another caulk gun and get more caulk, because we went through like 2 or 3 things of caulk. But let me get close up here so you can see I puttied the top. I'm gonna have to sand it a lot because this was not a good putty job at the tops. And then we caulked. Some of the boards were not straight, like they're a little bit bowed, or a lot of bit bowed, so we have to use a lot of caulk in those sections, like 5 layers of caulk, because the adhesive was not sticking either. So yeah, you can kind of see where the caulk is here. But yeah, I'm done with this part. Hopefully tomorrow I can paint.
The next day, first I sanded the areas where I applied the dry decks.
So I have everything taped off now. This took forever, multiple, at least an hour or more, but I have it all taped off, and now I'm going to spray paint.
So here I'm using the Home Right Finish Max paint sprayer that I got from Amazon. I wouldn't say this is the best paint sprayer, but it did the job. So I decided to use a paint sprayer for this project because of the crevices and nooks and crannies between the different boards. This created a smoother look than I think I could have gotten by hand painting. I did have to go back and roller in some parts because the paint started dripping. I don't think my technique was the best for using this paint sprayer. So with this particular paint sprayer, I did have to dilute the Behr paint with water. I don't quite remember the ratio, but I kind of like tweaked it here and there. As well as you have to keep the paint sprayer a distance from the wall to reduce the amount of paint drips. So this is the completed project. This project took about 3 days, but it took me maybe 2 weeks to pick out a paint color, and then I also painted the border pieces in advance before doing the rest of the project. But yeah, I think it came out really nice. This project cost about $300 to complete, and then I also had a brad nailer and a miter saw to cut the pieces to size. But thanks for watching this video. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.